got an awesome member here, and his name is Vasili. He is out of Michigan. Vasili, why don't you come on and turn on your audio and video, and we're going to tell your story. He is a financial freedom member out of Michigan. Tell us about yourself.
So I'm a radiation therapist, and I actually just became a manager of a cancer center last week. I decided to learn something new back in 2016, and one of my patients influenced me to learn how to buy and sell real estate. Well, about 6 or 7 years ago, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I got into real estate knowing that I wanted to invest in real estate because of that book. And I always thought, what if one of me or my wife lost one of our jobs? What kind of backup would we have? So we just wanted to create multiple streams of income, and I ran into lifestyles just from the internet. I saw Greg Scott from Michigan. He posted a buy and hold event, and it was the day before my wife's birthday, and I almost did not go because I felt bad dragging her to buy and hold meetup. But it was tacos and tequila, and she loves tacos and tequila. We got married on Cinco de Mayo, so she came with me, and I'm glad we went because here we are today, and we have a house purchase finally.
So you are still a financial freedom member. When did you attend a Lifestyles 2-Day?
It was about actually 2 years ago on February 22nd.
Yeah, awesome. I remember meeting you there. Let's go ahead into the next slide, David. All right. So why did you join Lifestyles?
Well, the people that I met at that meetup, they really, I always wanted to buy and hold real estate, and I also learned that cash flow was the way to freedom. So, and that's through Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I saw what you guys were doing, and I wanted to do it. I just didn't know how exactly. So, and I didn't want to try to reinvent the wheel. So I wanted to learn from someone who's done it.
Yeah. So I met you at that 2-Day back in that February of that year that you joined.
Correct.
I remember talking to you about your situation, and at that time, I think you guys just got married, right? Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah, we were just getting married. It was a couple months later we got married.
You really were starting off fresh. You asked me, whether or not to be able to upgrade your membership, and I told you no. Why did I tell you no?
Well, because you care about us. You told us to start small, basically. That would have taken a huge portion of our finances to jump in apartments. So then I thought, okay, it makes sense. It is like Monopoly. You start with a little house, the little houses, then you upgrade to apartments. So thank you. It's been a blessing so far.
Yeah. And we here at Lifestyles Unlimited, we have integrity. We don't want you just to join. We don't want to just take your money. We want to make sure that you're able to do at least one property, whether it's single family or multifamily or the passive or et cetera, things like that. And we talked with you, Vasili. We saw you were anxious. We saw you passionate, and yet we wanted to make sure that you had a good experience. And so I encouraged you to continue with your real estate, because you were doing part-time real estate at the time. You just had started actually, and you were still getting off the ground because you were still doing it part-time. I said, take what you learned in this 2-Day, go find your first house and start there, right? And go ahead and tell us about this property, because Spicer Street is where you started. So how did you get to Spicer Street? Because at the time, you barely could afford the upgrade to the challenge program. So what happened? What changed? What allowed you to do that?
So honestly, my first side hustle, because we were living a house, not paycheck to paycheck, but we didn't want to sell the house and downgrade, and we wanted to stay close to my family. So that's why we moved to where we live, and we didn't want to sell our house and pull out money to invest. So I used my one side hustle, which I was helping people buy and sell homes and save money that way. And after, a wedding and, buying a house and all of those expenses, finally, the side hustle has helped us purchase this property. And it was in the midst of a pandemic, and it was scary, but I'm so happy we did it.
Yeah, and so what really happened is your desire to get that real estate going, as well as the education that you had from lifestyles, really helped you to focus and have a much more specific goal and action oriented towards doing this, right?
Right,
You just weren't
absolutely.
all over the place. You had a
No,
plan. You saw the 2 day. You attended the 2 day, and you knew what you had to do just to get that first property, right?
yep,
All
correct.
right. So um, let's go take a look at some of the before and after. This actually, even the before doesn't look too bad, but it looks even better with the after, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go to the next slide there, David. And so let's talk about the property. Tell us how this all came about. What are these numbers telling us here?
So I didn't have a hard money lender, and I wanted to focus on cash flow. So I kind of ran the numbers, and I took a conventional mortgage and I put 25% down. And then I ran the numbers, and actually they were better after the fact. I had 15%. Well, when I ran the math, I had a 15% cash on cash return, and then it ended up turning out better because of the quality of the product that I put out. I fixed it up really nice, which attracted a ton of people. And in the market, there was nothing for rent at the time. There was when I put the house on the market, it was going to be the only house on the market for rent at that moment. So I knew the supply and demand was going to be high. So I actually uh, bumped up the rent $100 more than I intended to, and that's what created a higher cash on cash return.
So one thing we teach at the 2 day is don't put a hammer to the work. Did you put a hammer to the work?
Actually, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So the first day there was a bunch of brush in the back, and I cleared it all out. I put it in a pile. There was 3 big piles, and I go, huh? And I took one pile, threw it in my truck, and I go, I got to do that 4 more times. And I was like, I don't have time. So I went on Long Guru. It's an app, and I paid someone $100 to go do it.
Hey,
It was
that's the
well
reason why
worth
we
it.
tell you we're trying to buy back your time. You learned the lesson. I will
Yep.
not do what David Fisher tells me to do. I will not do what Bill Wamsley tells me to do. Sometimes we gotta learn it the hard way. But I'm
Yep.
glad you learned it early on.
Very
So
quickly.
you
That's the
had to
one thing.
make yeah you had make ready, which is cost about $7,700. Your closing cost was 25% down. Your total out of pocket was $36,000. Your return on capital gain, roughly anywhere from 7 to 9%. Your rent was $1,200. Your cash flow after paying your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is $688. I remember when you showed me your numbers, you were expecting how much instead of 688?
I think it was, what did I say, 500?
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
actually
I
still
think it
pretty
was
good
about
when you consider that.
450, 500 is what I
Now,
thought it was.
this is a 22.8% cash on cash return on your money. Any bank out there or stocks doing that good right now?
Nope.
Okay. And with all that you spent in here, a lot of this is a tax write-off, right? All right.
Yep.
So let's talk about more about Spicer. Here's some of the phenomenal things that you learn. And one of the things that we tend to discover when we join Lifestyle, we do it, and even if we don't do it 100% correctly, real estate's forgiving, and we tend to come out sometimes pretty rosy. So tell us about things about Spicer.
Say that again.
Let's look at the slide. This you
Okay.
how long did it take to get the tenant, a resident? Excuse
It
me.
took, yeah. So I was at work at my W-2 job, and my phone was blowing up. I couldn't keep up with the phone calls. So during my lunch hour, I'd call people back, and I selected about five applicants that I thought probably were going to be one of the best, and I showed it to about 5 people. Other realtors showed it to about 5 people, and that day I had a lady. She was really excited. She wanted to sign the lease while I was at the house when I was showing it to her.
Awesome.
So it really felt like she was actually buying my property. That's how excited she was.
That's awesome.
And that made me feel really good.
Well, so not only did it make you feel good, let me ask you this question. Did this really validate what we were teaching?
Absolutely. Best product, best price.
What did your wife say about this?
She was very impressed. She took no interest really in real estate, but she trusts me, and which is important. But um we got a check from a family member. It was like $1,000 actually, and I go, so what do you want to do with this? And she's like, let's put it towards another property.
So I'm gonna, Dale Walmsley talks about, and everybody in lifestyle talks about legacy. And I have been watching you on Facebook because I encourage you to friend me on Facebook. I'm no longer on Facebook, by the way.
Yeah.
And I've watched you and your wonderful family. And one of the things I remember you sharing with me was your mom is on board, is coming on, is wants to do this now, right?
She does. She's not. I think her biggest fear is networking with people.
Yeah, but she's
That's
cheering
just
you
not
on
her
and she
life.
sees your success, and
Yeah,
now
she
she
does.
wants to do this.
She does.
So,
She's sending me properties all the time, and
right.
I'm trying to help her a little
Well,
bit.
so here's the thing. We talk about legacy, which is passing it on down, and you talked about that too. But
Oh
yours
yeah,
is kind of working not only passing it down the way, but it's also working backwards. And I think that's pretty awesome.
it is.
And
Yeah.
that's awesome. Congratulations.
So,
So
so thank you.
here's some of the things about this Spicer Street property. By the way, I saw a question pop up in the thing, and I'm glancing, doing double uh, multitasking. This property is in Michigan. Vasili is in Michigan. So recently you spoke to your lender, and your lender said in 6 months you can do a cash refi already and pull out of roughly about $12,000.
Yep.
Uh, it would still cash flow $554 a month at that, and the property value today is upwards to $120,000. So
Yep.
I did a little bit of math, and this amounts to a cash refi return of 32% from your original out of pocket. Your cash and cash return increases from 22% to 27%. And so that's phenomenal. That's about 16.8%. What other vehicle of wealth building gives you this opportunity, Vasily?
Maybe a slot machine, but can't believe.
There was a streaker at the Super Bowl, according to what I am told.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that guy actually earned himself $300,000 by doing that. Well, we're not gonna we're not gonna go deep into that, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the next slide. How has Lifestyles Unlimited changed your life?
So Dell talks about chunking and taking away our expenses, and um, this is paying more than half of our mortgage. So one more house, if it cash flows $400, it's going to pay for our mortgage. So it's helping my wife go part time. We just had a newborn. He's 4 weeks old, and
Congratulations,
thank you. So I'm looking for that time freedom for her and for me within 5 years, right? So,
That's
and
awesome.
going back to building a legacy, it's, I was told to go get my master's, but it would cost 35-40 grand, and I would rather put that towards a single family home that will cash flow every month.
Amen,
So,
brother. Amen. Preach it.
so yeah.
All right. So, who's on your team? And I know you're financial freedom members, so you really don't have a mentor, so to speak. But
Right.
tell us about all of these things here, these bullet points.
Yeah, the advice you gave me was wonderful. It helped out a lot. The networking at the monthly meetups that we would have here in Michigan, Mike, our ambassador, he's been great. he's been an open book. I was able to pick his brain, and he helped me out and prevented me from making mistakes, actually. One mistake I could have made is I didn't put it on the MLS at first. So I had a guy who was very interested in the property, was getting paid under the table, had a 550 credit score, and I was questioning it. So I called Mike, and he's like, no, that's not what we teach. So try to get more leads, put it on the MLS, and that was the best thing I could have done. But the encouragement was great from Mike, so thank you, Mike.
So one of the things that we can do as financial freedom members, we've got access to, or you guys access to our member services, and they are all investors themselves. And a lot of the content and a lot of even that information that you shared is covered in the 2-day class that David Fisher is going to teach this weekend. So it's a lot of that stuff is really just a reminder of what's covered in the 2-day. So good work on that. And you had help and education, working with Lifestyles members. This property you actually showed from in a Michigan member meetup, and it was very impressive. So thank you so much for sharing and giving back. Let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. So what's next
My
on your?
pleasure. I'm hoping that we pick up 2 more properties this year. I'm ready to go out. The market's crazy over here. It's hard to find properties. Makes me kind of want to jump into multifamily, but I had fun with the first one. I like the monthly cash flow too. That's pretty cool. That's a great aspect. And I'm a realtor, so I get to keep the commission, right? So,
yeah. Well, you definitely, if you're going to buy apartments down the road, you definitely got to upgrade to a preferred member. You need our operational consultants, and you need the multifamily mentors. They are awesome, and they'll help you along that route.
I wouldn't do it without you guys.
All right, David, you want to come on? We can take some questions right now.
David Rosica, we need you. Paging David Rumpelstiltskin.
The computer is not instant. It does take a moment.
Okay, we can't help you up one from
This is
1947.
David in stereo. We've got David.
Hey, what city is the house in?
Madison Heights, Michigan.
Madison Heights, Michigan. That's interesting. Good. How did you hear about the deal, and who did you rehab?
I was just searching on the MLS. What I noticed when I was searching properties, we had the cash, so I was pretty motivated, and I just browsed the MLS. I noticed the pictures weren't very great when from the realtor listing it, and I saw it had granite counters and stainless steel appliances already, so I saw it had potential. So I decided to go take a look, and it was right when Michigan opened up. The real estate was shut down for a little bit, and so yeah, I was scared during that moment, but again, I couldn't be happier.
Awesome.
And what was the other question? There was.
Oh, who did you use for the rehab?
Oh, it was one of my cousin's father-in-laws.
Okay. Do you manage the property yourself?
I do. I use an app called Rent Ready, and it's pretty cool. They pay me through that. They submit maintenance requests through that, and I paid maybe $100 for the year.
Mm-hmm. That's all the questions I have right now.
Awesome.
How long did the rehab take? How long did the rehab take? And how long did it take?
5 weeks. It took 5 weeks, and then it took 1 week to get a tenant, but as soon as I put it on the MLS, that's when I did it in 1 day. So awesome. Putting on the MLS was key for me.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your story today. Thank you, Joe Flores, for all you do.